welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another recap review of the hit MGM Plus show, The Emperor of Ocean Park. It's your boy Lucas here with my guy Najir. We are at the finale, my brother. How you
We
doing?
made it. We done made it. Last but
Well,
not
a lot of
least,
people on the show didn't make it,
that's
but
true.
we made
That is true. Yeah, we made it, and it's been a ride. Very excited to talk about the finale and possibilities of more to come. Maybe.
it. That's definitely something we'll talk about tonight because this is, with this being the end, we can kind of dive deeper into exactly the source material that this was created off of and what would possibly, if they decided to do anything,
Yeah.
what could be next in the series. So let's jump directly into this episode here, as the 10th episode starts off with Tal waking up in the hospital, and we find out here that he's been out for 2 days and that the fake arrangements are now gone. What do you think about just opening up this episode with them being in the hospital and just the siblings being together? Because we have not seen that happen a lot this season.
First thing I say is, where's his wife? Where's Kimmer? Like, your man out for 2 days. I don't see her. I ain't see her in sight. So,
Well, hold up now. Kimber was there. She just
she,
wasn't there at the beginning.
yep, I know. But that very moment, I say, where's Kimmer? Because at this point now, she's still
Hey,
a suspect.
the
But 2 days, I was like, damn, like really?
yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I didn't. I mean, I know he was shot. I thought it was a little bit more of a not a panic. What's the word I'm thinking about here? Like, I thought like maybe just like his emotions, whatever the word I'm thinking about. But I thought like maybe his emotions just got the best, the adrenaline.
Adrenaline
Maybe
kicked in and he panicked about it. I
yes,
think it was
exactly.
with the first time, maybe, but it was that gut shot that she was like, "Oh,
That's true.
so
That's true. Yeah.
this may be a little bit more serious than it appeared to be,
Mm-hmm.
just because he got shot in the gut." But I can tell you
Yeah.
the funniest thing in the world. As I'm watching this scene, and I did notice that Kimber wasn't there, which is so messed up, but that's also what I noticed. But it reminded me, and I'm very random, it reminded me of the episode of Archer when he went into surgery and his mom went away to get a bear claw from the cafeteria. He goes like, "You couldn't even be here for my surgery."
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
I went to go get a bear claw." Like it was that like Tal woke up, he like, where's Kimber? And they like, like, it's time to leave. You can't
Yeah.
even be here when I wake up from this. I got shot because of this, and you're nowhere to be found. But I think
Yeah.
it was just a way to reiterate that the focal point of the show are the siblings. Because again, we don't see them together that often.
Yeah.
And then for Mariah to be one of the first people he sees when he wakes up
Yeah.
after everything they've been through this season, it's like, okay, that really sets a tone exactly the approach of what this episode is going to be.
Yeah.
But next up, we go back to 2006, and this is the beginning of the best setup of this show. Something completely done unlike, I think, anything I've seen. The way they played this card perfectly, as we see here with the judge being in the White House and him being informed here that you're going to be nominated for the Supreme Court. As the judge is getting the information, that is not a look of excitement on his face at all from getting this information. What did you think about, because we knew that this happened and we understood from the first episode, like that was his confirmation hearing. Just when he gets the news here, because he also got news kind of like this, I want to say in episode 7, when they were letting him know it's a possibility his name would be coming up, and he seemed very excited then. Here, there is no excitement. What do you think about just the judge's reaction to this news?
Oh, we all knew what it was. He was already thinking a couple of steps ahead, because this measure of promotion just means the more power, yet influence he can have, which means that there is more for his good old buddy to utilize. Yeah, Uncle Jack was like, "Oh, we got a promotion? Bet." So it is. I mean, and I, again, I've said it multiple times. I know that the judge hands were never clean, but he tried to hold on to some measure of integrity, and Uncle Jack definitely was going to utilize all of his resources, including the judges, to get what he needed to do to keep the rich richer, and to, you know, his stakeholders, or his business partners, his friends. You know, he's going to make sure that the money, the rotation of the money, continued to go, and he was going to use any and everybody to do so. And the judge didn't want no parts of that. Honestly, the judge, you know, even though while he was getting some payouts though, and for whatever, you know, whatever bit of maybe peace he could get from the payouts, because obviously it's going to a charity and whatnot, which was definitely money laundering one way or another. It just always came back to his wife. His wife didn't want them to be in the business of this shadiness over and over and over. So between his wife, between him trying to keep and try to hold some integrity, this was not going to be a good look for him, because he already knew as soon as he got this, that this is just going to mean, well, Uncle Jack is going to come back, and that door he's been knocking on, he's going to be knocking a little harder now.
Yep. I think that was the key element here, is that he understood, if I take this position, I can't be on the highest court of the land and be under someone's thumb. Like that, it's too much to risk there. Yeah. And in the end, we talked about this entire season, no matter what the judge did, he did it because he still had his integrity intact. Like, we literally saw him do everything in the last episode to get from under that thumb. So now you want to appoint him to the highest court in the land, where he can make landmark changes to stuff if need be. And for you to be under someone's thumb with that, that's no. And that was the fear on his face when he hearing, like, you're up for this nomination. So again, it's a great way to start off 2006. So we get the full breakdown exactly what happens in that time frame. But next up, we go back to the present time, and we get Dana with another professor who I could not remember this man's name to save my life. Or if they kind of showed him in prior episodes, especially as a slight conversation him and Tal had last episode at Mark's hearing.
Yeah.
When he was like, oh, and he was trying to give Tal hints then to stuff. But here we find out, as they're all together, the siblings, Dana and this professor, and the professor, out of everyone possible, asks everyone to clear the room. And they actually did it. Clearly, this is not a black family. There have been too many questions of who this white man is and why are we leaving because he says leave.
Yeah.
But here we find out that he is the person who left the chess piece for Tal. And he did it because he had an instruction to do so.
Yeah.
Now,
you better not ask me what I think, because you know exactly what I'm gonna answer here. You know,
that's the first thing I was gonna say. Like, what do you think about the setup? The setup. That's it.
This is the weekly affirmative action.
Okay, I thought I was the only person. I was like, wait a minute, who is this random white man, and why is he now all of a sudden so important to the plot of the show?
No, yeah.
Like, did I miss? I wanted to go back. Like, I had to miss something. There is no way he's the person who left this piece for Tal out of everybody.
Oh boy,
humanly possible.
I mean, even at the point where we kind of were putting people on the board about who could have did this. Yeah, this is one of them, like them trick bags. You know, you do one of those. I forget what you call them, drugs, but people always be telling you to like buy into one of their games and whatnot, and then this is just one of those options that wasn't even something you could select. It's like one of this that bullshit. It's like, this wasn't even a damn option you can bet on, and they won. Like, yeah. But at the end of the day, if I had to bet on something, I could assure you that there's each and every week there's going to be an affirmative hire, and this is that person that comes in, transitional scene, and that's it. But nonetheless, no, it was because we needed some closure on the chess piece.
Yeah.
And this was basically the reassurance about how the judge felt about his son. He just had to hear from another man, and maybe somebody, obviously people respect it because he said clear the room and everybody got the hell up out of there. But it just was somebody that just let Tal know, like, he's the prodigy, man. He left this for you because you were going to figure this out. He knew you could handle this. He always believed that you would be the one. And I think this is a necessary scene because let's not forget that he just went to the cemetery last episode and he was like, well, if you just want to pop out in any time to, to explain yourself. I mean, that was a man that, while there may have been some humor within that statement, there definitely was a man that was like, man, I don't know what to do now. Like, why me? Why am I the one doing this? Like, I'm confused. And I think this just reassured him to get back on track because it's you for a reason.
Yeah. This scene just killed my dark horse altogether. My dark horse was Dana. Of saying, okay, maybe it's a way that she would be the person, her close relationship to Tal. It would make sense. Clearly, other people knew about her. I did not expect this a random white man who I don't know to be so pivotal to the story in this way. That's what threw me off altogether. But next up is the police, the same agents who fumbled this case from the beginning. Again, come in a room to talk to Tal about the case and quickly switch it up like they're trying to blame Tal for everything. And this is when Mariah does what she does best, to step up and say, basically, he's the victim. Why are you attempting to question him like he's the person who set all of this up?
Love this scene.
Yes, but it's very reminiscent of earlier in the season when we had the exact same thing happen when Tal was beat up and him getting blamed for everything. Just, we've seen so much from Mariah in this season here of her attempting to be a mother to her kids. But the only person we see her constantly stick up for is Tal.
Yeah.
What do you think about the approach of this whole hospital scene? Not just the ending element here of it, but just the way this was set up. Because she's the one, even when we later see Kimber, she's still the one who's watching over everything that happens with Tal.
That's it. That's just really it. I mean, this is I ain't gonna say her place, or her role, but like, when it comes down to siblings and whatnot, the dynamic between the three of them, everybody plays a particular role. And is she her brother's keeper? Well, yeah. Hell yeah. And you see that time and time again. She's gonna stick up for him no matter what. It could be the authorities, it could be his damn wife. It don't matter. She's standing up for her brother. And then she you already knew what time it was. So you gotta love her. She's a real one on that note. Exactly. Now her cosplaying as a mother, that's a whole different story. But
she basically like, man, fuck them kids, but I love my brother. The kids got their mother. They got their real mom.
Yeah, for real.
But next up, we go back to 2006, and this is where Jack and Isaac Hayes visit the judge to congratulate him on his Supreme Court nomination. Now, I don't know if it made you think what I thought about this scene here, and that's when we get the reveal of the cufflinks that was given to the judge, which are also the same exact cufflinks that Kimber had cleaned and gave to Tal. At this moment, Kimber was a murderer to me. No one else mattered. It was her. She was guilty. Like, the cufflinks is all the evidence I needed here.
Yeah.
To prove that was it.
And the only thing is, like, the cufflinks did not play into the big role of the murder mystery aspect of the show. And why every artifact at this point now becomes like a tangible object of some type of like plot development or whatever. This one wasn't. And with the significance of the cufflinks, I would say is, I mean, I'm sure you have too, but when you get a set of cufflinks from the family member, like, I don't know where in the Black Bible is it located, but it's supposed to mean something of some significance. And I've definitely had a few sets, and I definitely have let them chill on ice for a while. And some of them are of value, but some of them have initials that aren't my initials.
Don't matter, they're yours now.
But all I'm gonna say is it means something, and it means something like precious, shall I say, by case basis. So it was nothing just to say like, hey, you got your father's cufflinks, man. That's a pretty dope gift. Like that means something to somebody.
Yeah, clearly I read way much. I'm like, oh, Kimber's the murderer now, because she would know that Jack had those cufflinks. All of that goes through your head. But
Yeah.
later on in this scene, the big moment happens is when the judge threatens to quit and says, like, what happened if I just step aside? Well, I don't have to do this anymore.
Oh, you wouldn't
And
do that.
and Uncle Jack basically tells him, blood in, blood out, down by glory. You're going nowhere.
And
Like,
if
once
if
you're
Uncle
in,
Jack
you're
thing
in.
had a red suit on in this scene, I ain't know what, but that 360 deal that the judge what you mean you quit? We ain't quit nothing. What you talking about?
You still owe me 6 albums. You ain't going nowhere. But
Hey, that was hilarious scene.
what did you think about the judge's approach here, though? Because at that point, he literally thought that was my only. He was willing to give away, and later on, we found out exactly the steps that he took, give away everything
Yeah.
just to make sure he wasn't under Jack's thumb. Down to turn away a dream. This is the dream position for anyone who's a judge, ever, is
Yeah.
to be nominated to the Supreme Court, and he was
It,
willing in that moment to completely throw it away.
it's a game of chess. He's trying to see how he can get from under the kingpin's thumb. So he's just trying to see what moves are available. And so he, and the one thing about it is that at the end of the day, Uncle Jack doesn't want to hurt him. He doesn't want to harm him. He has a lot of respect and love for him. So the judge knows that, and I would say he sort of uses that because some of the threats that he makes should be kind of offing for somebody with the likes of Jack, who could say like, "Oh, you think this is a joke? Okay, I'll handle that," But I think he's just trying to see what he can do in order to try to get from under this situation. So I think he's making threats that he probably really don't even think he can actually execute. But he's just like, let's just see what reaction I get from this,
And then next up, we go back to the present time and we get the first appearance of Tal and his lovely, enduring wife here, Kimmer, as she takes him out the hospital and Tal completely blows her off. Like, I ain't forget you and young Lionel sleeping together. And and here is where he tells her basically, we need to end this. And takes bravery to do. Like, he just got shot and he still wants her to know this is not going to work for him.
Yeah.
As he leaves with Mariah, who offers to drop him off, but then he says, I need to stop somewhere first. As her goal is to find out exactly who fell for the safe deposit box. But when Tal tells her he needs to go somewhere first, we find out the person he needs to go visit is the person who gave the white professor the instructions on what to do with the chess pieces. Were you surprised by this reveal?
I guess first of all, Mariah has money. We're just not going.
Know. Yes.
Yeah, we're just not going to. Yeah. She has a private jet, Bentley truck. She living good. So I was just when Tal was in the car, just looking up at the stars. I was just up there looking too, like, damn, man, this is she got it right.
Hey,
she doing.
Why can I have one of those sisters? Like, I don't know what I did wrong. I got lots of sisters. None of them have a Bentley truck.
What's the question? Because I swear when I was watching the scene, I went back and I was like, damn, Mariah got it right, man. Like she really do. She got it figured out.
She married that white man and living a good life.
Like my man got checked out of the hospital like he was a true celebrity, bro. Like he got wheeled out, VIP treatment, one chick to the next chick. Putting the Bentley.
I'm gonna say this, and I know it's a messed up comparison, but not even Lou got that treatment when he got out the hospital. He like, no one got this treatment. But Tal getting this treatment here. But the question is, before they go to find out about safe deposit box, he tells her he needs to go somewhere else. Yeah. And then we get the reveal of the person who's actually been orchestrating everything behind the scene for the judge's wishes. Did you think that was a surprising reveal?
Okay, so I will say, first of all, the order of operations here was a surprise because I thought maybe the bank might have been
the first line of business.
Yeah. So I was surprised by that. I'm also surprised that Mariah didn't even try to fight that idea. Because when she gets determined, there's really no stopping her.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of at with it. As far as the other stuff, well, let me ask you, what did you think on this?
I thought it was an interesting thing to bring in it feels like another separate character to be the person who fulfilled the job. I would expect it to be, I think his name is Carl.
Yeah.
His chess friend. That's who I would expect this part to be. So it did throw me off a little bit that, okay, yes, you were there to reassure Tal that he was the one the judge wanted to do all of this. And you had to lay these pieces out in front of him, and you were questioning him on why he didn't figure out some of the problems that were right in his face.
Yeah.
But if we're reverting it back to chess, wouldn't he have leaned to the guy who he knew all the secrets of the judge?
Right.
That's what threw me off. Like, you hear the way he talked about the judge when Tal went to go see him. And he said, man, I know a completely different guy than you did. Like that connection, I would expected him to be this person. So that threw me off more than anything else, is that wasn't him. But again, I think that's what this episode is doing. It's literally pinpointing that the people who you think of importance aren't the people of importance, because the judge may have had love for them, but they weren't high on his list.
Right.
Of how they get the information to his children. I think this goes back to, I want to say you brought it up in like episode 5 or 6, where the judge knows them better than anybody else.
Yeah.
So maybe you wouldn't have been receptive if it was someone else. But here, I know you're going to be receptive, and that's why I did what I did. Yeah. So, okay, it's a solid reveal. It's just, again, it's what this episode does a lot of. It kind of throws you off a little bit exactly what's going on as the plot progresses. That's the interesting part more than anything else. Also interesting is that it's brought up Tal wasn't the original person. It was Addison is who the judge originally wanted to know the arrangements. And then it brings us back to episode 4, where he constantly was attempting to meet with Addison. It says, it's highly important. We need to talk. And Addison repeatedly blew him off. So to hear here that was a judge, that's who the judge wanted it to be. He did not want it to be you. He wanted it to be Addison. But in the end, he realized you were the perfect person for it. And that Tal was reading the chess pieces wrong as we get to the final reveal of the numbers at the bottom of the chess piece. And then we find out here that the numbers are Abigail's birthday.
Yeah.
Did you think that was going to be as big of a reveal as it turned out to be later?
Hell no. Underwhelming. I definitely thought it was going to be something a little bit deeper than that. But I mean, to be fair though, because, I always say, like, we know these shows, you watch enough television, television is not constructed like a film. A film leads you to the ultimate payoff at the end of the film till you get those last little 5 minutes that wraps it up before it's the end of the film totally. Episode 9 is always the big payoff, and episode 10 becomes those 5 moments at the end of the film where it says, okay, let's wrap this up. Or if we're going to shoot for another season, let's open up a little bit more so we can have something to build from off of. So for me, I felt like this reveal of it being Abigail's birthday was kind of like, I was expecting more. Give me a code so I can go to a Dropbox or lockbox and go get something. But just her birthday was kind of like, oh, if you can't get that off of like 2 guesses, I mean, hell, give me his laptop. I'm damn sure I can hack into that joint. The way how he's leaving clues out like this. The big clues happens to be his daughter's birthday. Birthday or accident day? Which one was it?
I think it was a birthday.
Either way,
the birthday.
2 guesses.
It was Abigail's birthday.
2 guesses. No matter what, I'm getting it right.
It's a day that you should have easily guessed.
But like I said, like the 10th episode really doesn't give you those big, like, it doesn't give you those big moments like the 9th episode is. So this was underwhelming because maybe you expected more, but in reality, these are sort of the things that happens in the 10th episode. And the last thing I'll say is too, when you look back at the series, the reason why this is a satisfying revelation here is because it does go back to not just the death, but I also think it comes to like the really what the judge was going through mentally since the death. This is ultimately about the grieving of his daughter. And the fact that everything is about her, resembles her, is dedicated to her. It's just how some people grieve, you know. Who doesn't, who haven't gotten a rest in peace, blah 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 tattoo for somebody they cared about. This was just his way of saying like everything is tailored to my daughter's death, you know. So I'm gonna celebrate her by putting together chess pieces that is her birthday because that reminds me of her, and so many more things. So it makes sense when you kind of look at it from that aspect. When you look at it from the plot aspect, kind of like underwhelming, but when you look at it from like a character development aspect, it makes the most sense.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. It made the most sense for that to be the big moment that ends up being for the episode, because once we find out about the birthday and then you put the pieces together, you're like, wait a minute, that's why everything of that nature was laid out that way by the judge. But next up, we have Tal and Mariah as they visit the bank as they're looking to see if anyone attempted to get access to the safe deposit box. And here we realize, one, I found it hilarious that the teller went from nobody to, well, it was just one guy that came in.
Time out. Fire her right now. I don't be calling for people jobs, but there is no way in the bank, the bank employee manual, section 1.1 PII, never disclose nothing.
Nothing.
You can barely get your own stuff without proper credentials. So the fact that like, so who might have been inquiring about a job? Oh, please tell me all about that. Yeah, that, I mean, it only makes sense in a way that it don't make sense. Mariah should have had to make an offer here, a bargain offer, but that also
she's been making in a heartbeat. You're at a bank. Like, there is no way you're gonna get around that. Almost unless you work at the Andrews Federal Credit Union in Forestville. Then I will understand. I will understand then of you giving out his information willingly. But again, it was just a big reveal here, just that someone, and all she said was someone came asking about safe deposit boxes, and it was an older white gentleman. And we already know where Mariah is. Immediately to her, it's Uncle Jack. Yeah. No one else matters here.
Yeah, I will say, to be fair here, I was like, there's obviously no one but Uncle Jack that fits this description. They really handled this twist really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good.
Next up, we go right back to 20.
Wait. I had two thoughts. I'm sorry. Very much the first thought I said, this is obviously Uncle Jack, because there's been nobody else to this description. But also I said, so Uncle Jack is now doing his own work?
That was the question right there, more than anything. Because even if some old white man would have showed up, it would not have been Uncle Jack.
Yeah, no.
Because he don't do that himself.
Too sloppy for him too. And even in his measure of desperation, he still wouldn't have did it. As we've seen for now 9 episodes before this, he got soldiers on deck. He got people to go out there and do the work.
Exactly.
So yeah, he doesn't appear unless you're paying a premium. He not moving unless with all these folks that he got dispensable to just do whatever he needs. So I was like, wait, what? But you know, my suspicions were right later on.
There you go. Next up, we go back to 2006, and this is a short conversation between the judge and his wife here, and her asking, are we going to be under Jack's thumb forever? And this is the first time the judge brings up, no, I have a backup plan. There's not much to talk about here because that's going to get exposed later on in the episode. But we go back to present time when Tal is now being followed by this SUV. I had to be very careful because I was about to say special victims unit, but this SUV.
Got to sneak in your favorite show one way or another.
Hey, one way or another, I'm gonna sneak in Law and Order. But as he's getting followed by his SUV, it's not much there because it transitions to a later on scene. But the follow-up scene is Mariah as she finds a letter about the fund for Abigail while Tal rolls up on the black SUV. Now, this is a very interesting wholehearted transition here of one, her finding this letter for a fund that she knew nothing about, and that we kind of understood with the reveal of what Uncle Jack was doing with that money in last week's episode. But here we find out from her like, no, this is a fund in Abigail's name. At the same time, we get Tal rolling up on this SVU, and he decides to pull a gun on them. And that's
SUV.
how the S. See what I mean?
Yeah, there's an
SUV.
SWV, there's an SUV, and there's obviously Special Victims Unit.
You know what?
So
I have never confused SWV with an SVU or a SUV. I've never made that mistake.
Never know, man. Just give me the options.
There you go. But Tal rolls up and pulls a gun out on the driver. Here he threatens to shoot the driver of the truck. And here we get the best moment of the episode. It's like, you don't even need that gun. Literally, Tal allowed him to take the gun directly out of his hand with no resistance and told Tal to get in the car with him as they drive to what looks like either a nursing home or a hospice facility that Uncle Jack is in. And this is when Uncle Jack lets Tal know, like, everything that's happened has nothing to do with me. He is very adamant. I still need these arrangements, but I did none of what you're talking about. I didn't shoot you. My whole thing has been to protect you. What do you think about this scene as we get this? From an audience perspective, we've already knew the condition that Uncle Jack was in.
Yeah.
But from Tal's perspective, this is his first time actually seeing fully the condition that Uncle Jack is in.
Yeah,
What do you think about the reveal here?
Oversight on us, forgetting to mention that they have not seen each other in the present day since the funeral. So it's been a while. Yeah. Can I tell you that in the beginning of this, when one of the henchmen took the gun, the first thing I thought about was, I mean, I gotta stop letting my mind go to these imaginary places. First thing I thought about was, I was like, oh man, this feels like that Michael Jackson moment on We Are the World, when he wanted to stop the violence. He told him put the gun down, and Tal was like, okay, fine, here's my gun. I said, this is the most casual de-arming I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm gonna tell you how confused I got real quick here, because I remember that video with Mike when he did this and the guy put the gun down. But you said We Are the World, so instead,
was that not the name? What?
No, that's not We Are the World.
What was it? I forget.
That was. I don't think they care about us. I want to say.
Oh, it was. You're right. Yeah. I mean, but in fairness, though, it should work for both.
We Are the World, and
all this little kid.
I thought about the way Michael was looking at Cyndi Lauper, and then when they were singing those notes, he looked at them like, I cannot believe I'm here. Out of all places. I thought you was making the parallel of the driver looking at Tal with that gun like, I can't believe I'm here. Hey, he pulls out a gun on me.
Hey,
but both fit the analogy properly of the way that driver felt in that moment.
Yeah,
from Tal pulling that gun out. He can't even believe.
Yeah. He might get a nice payday because Uncle Jack about to meet his maker. But I mean, like, I think it was important because they need to resolve some things. They need to see the state of Uncle Jack's health. His health is deteriorating quickly at that. But I think that he may have added a bit of saving grace about the arrangements, because the arrangements look very incriminating to Uncle Jack alone. I think he may have gave some perspective that, like, I'm not the only one that's going to go down here. So if I can have this, I could actually save everybody. So Uncle Jack will die essentially on the heroic side for the family if he's able, the Garland family is able to do so. So it tells you that Uncle Jack was trying to get them before anybody else did.
There you go. And I think it's a great reveal here in this scene that he finally tells Tal what the arrangements are.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's another thing that we didn't know. Like
yeah.
he lets it go. Like this is what these arrangements are, down to saying that the judge was too scared to deal with his own problems, and he put
Facts.
it off on you. Again, it changes perspective on
That
us
may not
of
have been
what the
real,
judge was
but
doing. Yeah, it
yeah,
just,
that might have been real,
but
but there was some
in a
truth
way,
to that.
because he was trying to put it off on Addison. He was
Oh,
clearly
true.
attempting to put it off on someone. He said to protect, but it gets to a point where this is still your problem and your issue, and you're
Yeah,
passing it on your kids to deal with. So again, this was just Uncle Jack being bluntly honest about his actual intentions this entire season,
yeah,
which is highly important to let you know, like, no, this whole time we kind of brought it up that he was looking out for
yeah,
Tal and he was protecting him. But now this is Tal's first time hearing it from Uncle Jack. So I
yeah.
thought that was a great moment in this overall scene. So next up again, Mariah, as she finds out even more information about this fund for Abigail at UNC. Now, I'm going to focus on just her investigation part here instead of bouncing back and forth because I thought that was a great part of this episode to show her investigative reporter mode kick in high gear here. Just what do you think about her understanding, like, to track this down best, I need to find my dad's law clerk. Because if anyone would know this situation, he would know this situation. And then
Yeah,
them trying to pinpoint not only what the judge did, but possibly how he got the money and where the money was going to.
yeah. I think it's just to establish that, although she felt like she did a thorough job in auditing all of his financial records and everything about him, there was
Mm-hmm.
still so much to find out. And I think this is the most mature yet responsible thing that people should do. Go to the source. A lot of
Yes.
folks would have not had the wherewithal here and would have probably went to the school or I don't know, just something random instead of just going to the
Yeah.
source of somebody that could actually help you build
Give you
and
the answers you
understand.
need.
Yeah, give you the
Yep.
answers you need, or at least establish a more, at least a more like direct mindset about what you need to be doing and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The qualified folks, shall I say? So, yeah, kudos to her. But I mean, she does a good thorough job in ensuring that she's getting all the right information and details, and whether if it's not her collecting it, going to the right people that can help her assist in it. So, right, it's on par for her. She does this very good. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
mothering thing, that's a whole different
That's
story.
not
She
her
wouldn't
monkey, not
dare.
her circus.
She wouldn't dare look herself in the mirror and say, what can I do to be a more present mother? She's been a mother for 10 episodes, an hour each. She's been a mother for 34
Be,
seconds.
there you go. I'm about to say, be honest with the time frame. Because you know how
Yeah.
black folks be. We'll exaggerate and be like, man, she been a mother for like a couple hours. No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't.
Yeah, 34,
Like
34
she
seconds.
literally attempted to make them breakfast, and they said, that's not what our mom makes us for breakfast. And then that ended right there. Like that it did right there after they let them
Yeah,
after they
you're
let her
right.
know what their mom actually makes
Yeah,
them for breakfast here.
yeah,
But again, this is just the mode that she's in. This is her at her peak of
yeah.
her attempting to figure out this case. And as we see her go through all this evidence to pinpoint everything, what did you think about? Did you think it was as satisfying as she wanted it as she got to the end of that investigation?
I don't think she was ever, especially when she found out that her dad probably died of natural causes. I don't think she was
Mm-hmm.
ever looking at a point of being satisfied at this rate. I think it's just
Mm,
always just going to be it is what it is. But I also think there was still a good measure of her being shocked
yeah.
that how much more that she didn't know. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's, I mean, listen, there's definitely some personal things I can say, but I will tell you, like, when you really discover some things about your family that you just had no clue, it's not a measure of anger, it's not a measure of
Mm-hmm.
excitement. You're just kind of like,
You think
what
so?
in the world?
Yeah.
Like, really? So you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I will also say there is a certain measure of like personal doubt because you start to say
Mm,
like, did I miss something? Was I, what did I do that put me out the loop? And I guess she
yeah.
looks at it like, why wouldn't I be aware of him doing something that seems very noble? I mean, this is
There you go.
it's a very lucrative charity that's going on in their family's
Hey,
name. It's like, wait, how did I not know that? Also, Mariah's probably thinking like, yeah, I think I donated that much in the last 2 hours to the streets.
it's a CO that got that budget right now, just for me to make a phone call.
So, yeah, there's a little bit of frustration there.
Now, let's go right back a little bit backwards to the next scene in 2006, and this is just. I think we kind of see the bigger moments here, and they did it purposely between the Tal and the judge here. As just sweet moment. It's not much to talk about here, but I think it sets the foundation for what we're going to see moving up next with everything. Next up is we go back to the present time, and this is while talking to Mariah's daughter. It looks like a light bulb goes off in Tal's head, and he is at this point possibly figured out what the arrangements are. I don't know if there's much to talk about here because we kind of harped on it a lot. But again, this is just another big reveal for Tal as he's letting his guard down and starting now to put pieces back together again. And next up, we get Mariah again, still doing the same thing as she's investigating this fund and this laundered money, and she goes to Uncle Mel to go to see the books on everything. What do you think about not just her investigating it, but we've already brought up one white man savior here, but it's also Uncle Mel here who is still relatively over. I want to say most of the judge's financial resources here that she had to go through him, knowing that it wasn't necessarily her who was attempting to go through him in the first place.
First of all, yeah, I actually don't know. I mean, I think it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of the same for her. Just realizing just the degree of things and secrets she just doesn't know, and maybe just feeling a little misplaced because she would feel that she would be the source or have done all the work to this point to ensure that she knows the in and out. So her little pride might be hurt a little bit here, I might say.
That's more than anything else. That always gets in the way. But next up, we get the big plan being set in motion here as we go back to 2006. And this is the judge fake breaking down on the phone that he needs Jack to come and see him. And Jack is letting him know, I have way too many eyes on me at this time to come and see you. But this is just the judge persisting it. And then when he gets Jack to agree, we see that the judge has not had a single drink. And he did this all as a show against the judge. Now, I'm going to just focus on everything he did to set up, because that's the best way to focus on here. What did you think about after you saw this initial setup of Jack? Did you think it was going to continue? And then what do you think about the end result that came from these functions that he did against Jack?
Did I think it was going to continue? I mean, I was going to get as much as he could. That was the whole goal. Once we saw the plan into place, he was going to ensure his ticket out, or at least Uncle Jack's demise, or at least a measure of, being able to hold something for collateral just in case. So, yeah. The judge moves his pawn on the board.
Hey, that's the most important part, because I think if we ever look at the pieces that he's moving them around like he's on the chessboard.
Yeah.
And that's why so many it feels random, but for him, it wouldn't be random.
Yeah.
And that's just him possibly not only loving chess, but possibly attempt to make it more simplistic.
This is the Excelsior. To the full extent, I think. Because that's
you're about right about that. Because that's what it was also brought up early in the episode. When the woman asked him, do you not know what Excelsior means? And then down to her telling Tal, you've never bet on black to win before? Like it was being very clear and direct to him. Maybe these are the things you need to correct before even looking at anything else here.
Yeah.
So I think it's a big reveal and a big moment there. Now, as it pertains to this clerk, this is another character in the 10th episode that we've seen more than we saw him in the entire season. Did you think it was weird that Mariah would pick him as her partner to go through all this stuff?
No, just use anybody.
Only reason I ask because if you want to keep it in the family, you've already have some feelings towards him for him interviewing and then besmirching your father's name. So you already have issues with him. Did you like from a Mariah's perspective, do you think that was the smart partner for her? Or is it just a way for her to continuously hold her dad accountable now that the facade is gone, as we saw it left her last episode?
Yeah.
And here she feels like he has to pay for everything.
Yeah. I honestly, yeah, I don't know. I it's really hard to tell exactly at this point because did she withhold her dad's integrity as our priority, or does she wants to be the one to say, I got one on you? And and she wants it does her own personal goals and motivations, ambitions drive her over the integrity of her father and the family name.
I think at first she didn't have it, but with everything with her dad, that's when it grew. And that's like, oh, I don't know what to do with this because it's here now and I have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And now we see exactly how she deals with it, not letting her little sister slide off of anything. Granted, she slided off of one thing, her brother slided off of one thing, and she's like, no, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna play this role properly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the conflict that makes this such an amazing setup of when we see what the judge did and how he set up his family moving forward, especially as Mariah and the law clerk are going through all his old cases.
Yeah.
So next up, hold up, there we go. Next up is again, hold up, make sure I get this right because we done skipped around so much stuff here. Oh yeah, we already talked about the judge lying to get Jack to come to the courthouse because that is the big reveal for set up everything in motion, and then that takes us immediately back to the first episode where the clerk was asked, "Did you see Jack ever show up to the courthouse?" And this is what appears
that was definitely not a calculated plan on the judge's behalf, though.
You don't think that perfect? He set that up to the T.
You think he wanted the clerk to see him?
Yes.
I don't know if I got that. I thought his whole thing was to. I know he wanted to get him there, but I don't know if he actually anticipated the clerk seeing him. That's where I guess I was at.
He met him in the hallway, and he didn't have to.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah.
He won after he made the call. The first thing he did was gargle alcohol. Like you have to believe I'm drunk, because if you believe I'm drunk, the plan works. Because then it made sense that I called you for help. But he needed the law clerk to see it because I think he understood he's not going to hide a secret.
Yeah.
Not like this. He's not going to lie for me in his way. And because he's not going to lie for me, this helps set my plan in motion for it to be revealed that way. And next up, we go right back to present time. And this is where Mariah tells Tal everything she believes about the fund. She believes that it's laundered money by the judge and everything in its nature. And here we get the biggest flex in the world. As Tal asks Mariah, "Can I use your private jet to fly to Martha's Vineyard?" I want you to understand.
Oh, that blew me. Cause I was like, yo, last week you kept saying she got a private jet. I was like, damn, she might have a private jet. And he just very low key was like, let me get that private jet.
With no issue.
Mariah's living good, man. Living good.
Next up, again, we already talked about this is Mariah just meeting up with the clerk, and this is when they make the decision to go through all the judge's old cases. Here is just to find out, number one, where the money went to, and at what point did the judge become corrupt.
Everybody. They were looking, they were doing cross analysis for.
Remember though, first they started with just the judge, and then they started doing the cross analysis for everyone else by them saying the judge was only one vote.
Yeah.
There's no way he did this on his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here was just them going through his cases, and this is when they did come again. They came to the conclusion that it has to be more than one judge here. Next up is just Tal saying goodbye to Kimber and Bentley. as
More
he
like just goodbye to Bentley.
well, no, he was saying goodbye to Kimber, but not in a way like I'm gonna miss you. He was saying goodbye like, nah, we not together no more. Down there telling her like I'm going there to handle business. This is, I think, Tal's thinking that whatever he finds could end up with him costing him his life. And this was his last chance to say bye
What's the worst
to
that happened? My
Kimber
man
and
just got
Lionel's
shot.
son.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the worst that happened? Just got shot in the cemetery. So
Yeah.
he definitely kissed his son. It was like, hold the family down. He's like, I ain't gonna be back. You know, that's what we do in our family. We just abandon our kids. So you ain't no different, little.
Hey, exactly.
Little
So next up, we go back to 2006, and this is where we see the judge make again another controversial ruling in the case here. This is again setting in motion everything that's going to happen for him setting up. It's not much here to talk about because all of this is part of his setup against Jack. We go back to the present day, and this again, same thing we talked about. This is just Mariah and them setting up everything humanly possible of the judge case, and this is where they come to reveal who's the other judge. Start looking at all their cases to see who's ruling constantly with the judge in his cases here. I think this is just a moment just to show one, just how smart Mariah is. Two, that this law clerk who cared for the judge, snitched on the judge, still had enough respect for the judge to believe that he still wasn't crooked. Because he was very adamant until Mariah told him that no, he was crooked. He still was adamant that that was no way that was happening. Next up, we get Tal as he arrives at the house in Martha's Vineyard. And amazingly, guess what? The power's out. The
power's what? Out. Nah, exactly. Bro, no way.
But they pay not one power bill. Come on now. You at Martha's Vineyard.
All of that, exactly. First of all, the HOA was not going to be rocking. And all those, everything that Mariah's been into, you think she's going to let, for some reason, just a bill just lapse? No way. Even Kimmer wouldn't have allowed that.
Now, I'm about to say now, maybe not Kimber, because remember, this was the house that Tal was left. I don't care about that damn house. Tal was left that house.
Still, but I mean, she had to, she had to go, she looked through all of his, everything he owns. So they would have got some notice about back on the bill. But, something, you know, but that's under there, whatever.
On Martha's Vineyard, they don't have a generator of any form. I mean, it's convenient to have that be the case here.
It was given Equalizer 3 vibes. I was like, oh, okay, this is where the lighthouse is at. Little hurricane gonna come through, power out.
Oh, that's Equalizer 2.
That was 2. Yeah. Oh, you're right. It was 2. Yeah.
3 is when he miraculously went to Italy and was able to kill everybody in his presence with no problem, which unto itself was silly. But here it's just that Tal's going to the attic here. As to him, he's figured out what the arrangements are, and it's just him going to search for them. Next up, we go back to 2006, and this is the big reveal here. This is the reveal that we have Judge Wallace Wainwright is the other judge under Jack's thumb here. And as him and Oliver Garland, because I can't call him judge because now there's another judge is in the room. This is where they get the big blow up. As he tells him, you're ruining this for all of us. Yeah. You're not the only one that wants to be out here.
This felt like this felt like a John Kramer setup on Saw, where they were both trapped in the room. It's like, I'm in here too. What you in there? I don't know why I'm in there. I'm trying to get from out of here. Like, it literally felt like that dynamic of them feeling captured with no way to go. They both have to work together, although they have different ideologies in terms of how they're ruling. And at the end of the day, Uncle Jack, John Kramer, Saw, Jigsaw, whatever one you want to call them, ain't let nobody get out there unless they cut off their arm or leg or ear, tongue. He takes it all.
Hey, metaphorically, that's exactly what the judge did.
Yeah,
like he cut him in the knees so he wouldn't have these issues. Next up, the things we already talked about before we breeze to staying in 2006, and that is one, the Tal still going through the mayor stuff. This is Mariah when her and the clerk finally find out with the big reveal that was already revealed to the audience which is that Wainwright is the other judge. But then we
Mm-hmm.
go back 2006, and he talks about what landed him in his situation with Jack, as he just said, he helped me out with girls, and they don't elaborate on anything of what that means. They
Yeah.
leave it up to the audience. Like, he said girls, he's doing things he had no business doing. Clearly, there's only one thing you can do to girls that would be a problem.
Penn State.
That's the best way to put it. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I tried to think of another scandal that it possibly could be, but that's the only one that pops into the head.
Harvey
And that
Weinstein
Jack fixed it.
Island.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein Island.
Jeffrey, yes.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein had a movie studio. He did that to people in Miramax, like in their offices. But again, this is just showing just how powerful Jack is.
Yeah.
The point that now we realize the judge was only gathered because he needed a second one.
Yeah.
Because Wainwright was the first one under his thumb, but he needed a second one.
Yeah, I mean, that's just insane for him to be able to get two people under the same branch of the judicial system, both on your sides. I mean, that's a 2/3. That's 2/3 ruling every time. It's like, yeah.
But I think that was the whole point of it, and that's why I love the way they set up Mariah and the law clerk going through everything to get to that realization that the judge by himself wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah,
it has to be someone else.
It's a big thing for
this.
It's a big thing for the viewers too, because we were only been exposed to the judge being the one doing all of this, not understanding that there had to be more. But we saw multiple times on display that there was multiple judges on the bench. Also, if you watch the Judge Judy show, well, it's not her show, but she's the one that she EPs it. What's it called? I want to call it work. It's called Workbench.
Is it work? Because she has another show that is her show, but it's just not called the Judge Judy. It's called the Judge Judy Show or something of that nature.
Hot Bench. Is that what it's called?
Oh, she does.
Hot Bench. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the EP for that. So, because Judge Judy keeps that wealth within her family. Because I think her granddaughter is on that show.
It makes perfectly good sense.
Yeah. Her granddaughter's on the new Judge Judy show, and I think she may have some involvement with the Hot Bench. I don't watch Hot Bench. I stick to the OG in Judge Judy, but that's here nor there. If you watch Hot Bench, then you understand that that concept seems kind of like, why do we need 3 judges? Well, it's the normal concept because you see it on this show as well too, in certain cases, in certain aspects of the judicial system. So,
I mean, it's Judge Judy. She's making money hand over fist. No one cares. Like, we understand what she's doing. She's killing it. But next up is Mariah First up is the plans that the judge tells Wainwright about. And this is during their conversation where he lets Wainwright know, oh, I have a plan to get from under it. And Wainwright basically offers, like, can I help? And the judge tells him, my plans have absolutely nothing to do with you. But again, not much here to talk about. Is just, this is the judge laying the groundwork for everything. Basically saying, I need to get from under him, but almost it feels like him saying, I don't want to destroy him. I just don't want him to have control of me anymore. Next up is Mariah tries to call Tal and let him know that Wainwright is the person who's been setting all of this in motion. As he does it, this is when Wainwright, again, this is perfect Hollywood movie setup 101.
First of all,
listen,
before that, we're not going to pretend like my man Wainwright ain't just pull a Michael Myers.
That's what I'm about to get to, of him just cornering Tal out of the blue in his house.
He ain't one of those illusion walkthroughs. Like, wait, did somebody just walk back there? Like, all right. So, okay, we get it. This dude's about to be with his old ass is about to be a problem. Yeah, he's old, all right, because if he had life alert, he might have survived this one. But nope. That motherfucker fell, couldn't get up, couldn't even roll. It was a wrap. y'all old folks better get that life alert. All right, it could have been a whole different night for him.
I have so many questions, but we're gonna talk about it right after we talk about what happened in the rest of this scene. Then I'm gonna go back to ask my questions here because it only makes sense to ask this question. But here, after he corners him and he threatens him over the arrangements that he see Tal trying to stuff back in the bear, this is where the big reveal comes at who Lisa's boyfriend is. This was brilliant on so many levels, but boy, you had to understand why. Down to the point where Lisa's boyfriend and the bear was called Lisa's boyfriend. So it wasn't anything to do with Reverend Foster, Pastor Foster Brown, or anything of that nature. It literally had to do everything with John Edwards,
Yeah.
as the name Lisa came from the person who sued him for sexual harassment and that he was cheating on his wife with. And her first name, her real first name happens to be Lisa. And that would mean Lisa's boyfriend would be John Edwards, and John Edwards would be the bear that Abby had. And that's where the flash drive was hidden at by the judge. With all of that, all I want to ask you is this. Uncle Jack is on his deathbed. Why is Wainwright going back to get a flash drive when if he waited a couple of months, it wouldn't matter anyway?
Months. That's real generous.
I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, Uncle Jack don't got much more time. His stress level kicking up too high. I mean, I think I don't know. It's because like if he has it, then it is a measure of using it against one another. So, but you're right. He can catch a win one way or another. But listen, this old folks talk here. They want. Mm-hmm. It's vicious in those bingo halls. Okay.
Yeah.
So he want to make sure that he got the bragging rights of saying I got them, you didn't. Da 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 da. So, but yeah, you're entirely right. You're entirely
Next up, we go back to 2006, and this is the funniest scene of the episode. As here is Uncle Jack as he's watching the judge fail miserably during his confirmation hearing, and as he's watching, he put two and two together. And he realizes why the judge did what he did here. Because at this point, he automatically comes from under Jack's thumb by him losing his case from the Supreme Court. So it kind of makes you wonder, or if not necessarily wonder, he'd have been easily elected if he wanted to be. At the times we felt bad for him at the beginning of the episode, I know I did, because like they crucified him after everything, but didn't come to find out they only did it because he wanted it done.
Yeah.
And then you see Jack's reaction too when Jack finds out that, wait a minute, like you threw everything just to get rid of me. Again, it's a beautiful setup, and that they took their time to set that up properly. Also, we back still in 2006, and this is when the judge and Jack meet again, and this is Jack telling him, even though you failed the Supreme Court, we can still rule things at the lower court. And this is where the judge tells Jack about the arrangements, about everything he set in motion, down to him throwing an extra flash drive at Jack and telling him, you can have it, but I still have one of them. This is what do you think about here? Because the judge has been a kind of a pushover with Jack. But here, after the plan is laid out exactly what he did to protect him, and as he says, my family from you.
Yeah, he's tired of it. I mean, this was the final move one way or another. So he felt like he done did enough to execute his plan, and he stood up for himself. So it had to come to this.
Hey, and that's the big moment there. That's the big reveal there, because more than anything else, when you go back to the first episode and you're feeling bad for the judge losing his job, losing his everything, and you realize he didn't lose anything. He threw it all away because that was the safest bet for him.
Yep.
And it reverts right back to chess. Sometimes you got to sacrifice a piece for the greater goal. And that's what he did here by sacrificing that piece for the greater goal.
That's sure.
Next up, in the present, we get Tal as he goes to talk to Kimber and asks her, is she in love with Lionel? I don't know why he would ask this question or want to continue to do this. She tells him it's nothing more important than their family, and Tal tells her, I want a divorce and I don't want to be family with you anymore. What do you
His mind was made up. He just letting her blow steam here. Hilarious. Completely hilarious. She's also full of it. Completely full of it.
It's just
No
regrets.
one's buying that.
Hey, regrets are everything. And
Yep.
Kimber clearly regrets going with that young boy over Tal. Next up, we go back again for the final time as we get to see the Happy Garlands all together as a family. With it seems like all the cares in the world gone, which I compared it to the point that the judge died at the beginning of the episode because it closes any hope that anyone had that there was a nefarious reason why the judge passed away. And now you come to realize there wasn't one. He just happened to pass away here when they sharing this moment just around the fire. Again, not much here to talk about. That's just what they did there. And then we go right back to the present time here. And this is Tal tells Mariah the reason the judge gave him the arrangements. And Tal said, it's because I'm the only one with the guts to take this public. And this is Mariah, again, being the smartest person in the room and saying, what good would that do for anybody?
Yeah.
Like you want to absolve his soul? That's wonderful. But if you do this, we're the only ones that's going to be affected by it. He's gone.
Yeah.
What did you think about just how matter-of-factly she was about it with Tal? But the point is she was 100% correct. This has to die with him.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tal would have been the one to make sure that he asked the others before he made the decision. I know he sounded real righteous in what he's doing. I'm the one, but yeah, he would have drug his foot to do so. We see how he gets beat across the head with Kimber all day, every day. But like let's not forget that the hierarchy in that house is he couldn't do anything without asking her. Guess who was not going to let him do that?
Mariah.
Kimber. Don't forget, Kimber. Whole thing was about the optics, about what it looked like in that
but she can't no more.
I'm just saying,
lost everything.
His lifestyle always had him defaulting back to asking her. So him saying, "I'm the only one could have did that." I mean, yes, but that's not a brag. That's not the flex you think it is.
It is not at all.
It means you're on the top, you're on the bottom of the totem pole, and you're going to go through multiple levels of clearance before you make a move like this. Mariah, a couple of episodes ago would have took this straight public. Yes. Just because in hindsight, she would have said, this takes down Uncle Jack. Oh shit, it takes us down too. Damn. Because that's all she cared about.
Yeah.
Addison probably would have destroyed it. Out of sight, out of mind for him. I don't give a fuck about this. Get this all out of here.
But he understood the importance of not having it around.
Yeah.
And then we close off the episode as we get a slight time jump. This is the first time
jump. Because it's a cliffhanger. We just want to make sure you emphasize it's a cliffhanger on, well, what did they do? Did they turn it in? Did they not? Now you go.
Well, no. I think it's clear that they didn't turn it in.
I don't think so.
That part is clear. Only reason I say it's clear they didn't turn it in because of what Mariah put in the desk at the end of the episode.
No. I know that. But before the time jump, when the discussion was on the table of if they were going to turn it in or not, I think they kind of left it pretty open-ended because I thought that was the end of the episode. Then the time jump come and you're just like, oh, we look in the future.
I think it was only if it was open-ended. It was only open-ended because Tal didn't agree in that moment with Mariah.
She
clearly won out.
Yeah, but I mean, I that's still critical in the sense of like if the episode ended right there, we don't know. Did Tal and his newfound moment of righteousness felt like I'm gonna turn this in, or did he listen to Mariah and say like, oh wait, maybe we shouldn't? So it wasn't very open, but to kind of comment about the time jump, it's also very apparent that Tal not only didn't turn it in, but he also didn't feel much like the responsible one to even be the one to be the bearer of the precious, the precious
Mhm.
ring. He had to give it to Frodo because I mean he was Frodo for a while, but he had to give it away because he couldn't do the job. Which is why Mariah has it, because maybe
Mhm.
that might have been, it could be a lot of reasons why she had it. Maybe she felt like she was the one that deserved to have it. Deserve is
Mhm.
the absolute right choice of words here.
Yes, it is for her
um
especially.
yeah, but anyway, go ahead. Just make sure you wrap how you wanted to wrap this up.
But yes, because that is the close of the episode. As we see Mariah, she's reported to the nonprofit. We see Tal as now he's working with Maxine after we have not seen them together for this entire episode. I am still confused. Who the hell was Mariah working for? I mean, not Mariah, I'm sorry, Maxine working for, because that was also not revealed in this episode who she was working for. Like, it's a bunch of the holes that were left here of who was working for who. But we do see her and Tal working together here on a new case, and we see again Tal get that look in his eye as that's something he wants to do. We get Mariah, she reports to the nonprofit, and then at the end of the episode, we see her leave a flash drive in the desk of the non-profit. So, only words I got. What did you think about the closing of the season for Emperor of Ocean
Go,
Park?
Going back to Martha's Vineyard, we're just not going to pretend like my man set a whole fire on the house. He had to make a decision on, do I go back up there and get it, or do I just let it go because it's not worth it?
Yeah,
I.e., because Uncle Jack's going to die soon anyway.
that's why I said Uncle Jack about to die anyway.
If you got to this point, you damn sure know the health condition of Uncle Jack. But that's no here or there. The biggest thing, especially how people were just telling people's PII all over the place. He probably could have just went to the desk and say, "Give me the prognosis of patient blah blah blah." Well, here's his first name, last name, social security, and he's dying. Da. Here you go. Now, but him going up there, first of all, the bear catching on fire was an interesting thing. I thought it may have been a little bit more of a little bit more. I thought it would have a little bit more value to the family.
Really?
Him just getting the flash drive and not the bear was interesting, because the bear does mean everything. Let's be honest now. The bear means more than the goddamn chess pieces.
That is true. But the bear only meant more because of the flash drive that was in the bear.
Matt, that he just found about just a second ago. The bear actually, it's
for sentimental reasons, the bear would mean more.
And
but
the
whole
bear
point was Tal just wanted the flash drive. He didn't care about nothing else.
And the bear just catching on fire. And then my man just caught on fire. He went in there. I cannot believe he died in the way he did. He didn't even put up a fight.
Hey, like, ain't that the way that the Undertaker burned Kane?
Yes.
Is in the same thing? I thought so.
But he came back and wreaked terror for many years. But my man, again, life alert. Could have saved my man. He just...
So we don't know. Hold up. Kanan died in the fire, came back for 3 other seasons. Maybe if they bring this back, Wainwright will come back. You never know.
Listen, you're right. That would be something. He survived the whole fire. He's back. You know what? If that shit happened, that'd be the funniest shit. I will die if they
but
did
it's
that.
still something to think about.
I couldn't believe he died in the way he did. But overall, this has been a great season. This has been a great episode. I don't know what else more to put. That I do hope that everybody that watched the recaps enjoyed it as much as we did. And definitely interested to hear other folks' theories. And I'm also even to the point now, I don't want to predict. I kind of want to hear what other people would like to see from a season 2, because I definitely want these characters to come back. I don't think this was being listed as a limited series, but even if it is limited series, we've seen limited series get multiple seasons as well too. One being Your Honor, another being Shogun, with the right backing behind it and enough popularity, or even if it's gets nominated, these are all mean for another season. And obviously with the source material being so rich, I would imagine that there's probably more story to be told on just that alone.
And that's the other element. But technically for the source material, it's only 1 book.
Oh.
Yeah. So that again, bringing up Shogun is a perfect example of that not mattering.
Oh, true.
Shogun is one
Yes.
book.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're yeah.
Shogun is one book. Like
Good point.
it doesn't matter. It's way more about at this point about you knowing the characters and knowing what you can show next with the characters here.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the key element here. And are we going to get a second season of this, or is this going to play more like a limited series? It was a great limited series. I love the point that the deviations from the book made sense. As I told y'all beforehand, like all this John Edwards stuff is all new. Technically, the reveal in the book has to do with Angela Davis.
Yeah.
Literally nothing to do with John Edwards. That was just an element put into it to update the story some. As I told you before, Mariah's not a real character in the book. It's a fully fleshed out character in this show.
Yeah.
I think they did a great job of adapting this book, but making it more modern to attach itself to more audiences. So as long as we could do that for a second season, that would be great. Or the writer for this, the book is in a series of books, but it's in a series of books that are not connected by characters.
They're connected anthologies.
By location.
Oh, okay, yeah, anthologies.
So there's two more books in that series, but it would not be with these characters. Now, if they go down that route, that could be extremely interesting because that's a different take than we're accustomed to seeing from media from Black folks.
Yeah,
like we see it everywhere else. Well, and what was it? Them? Am I saying it right? The joke for Amazon, because they did the exact same thing.
Yeah,
where season 1 and season 2, same actors, different roles completely. So if they did something like this with that would be great. Or if they just decide to continue this story, because you said there's too many holes left out there for us that you can see how these characters can grow and possibly what those next mysteries could be. But again, this recap review airs right after the episode drops. Like, subscribe, comment, let us know your thoughts about the big reveal of the arrangements and the big reveal of the way the judge set up his way out of Supreme Court. Did you enjoy that? What did you think about the closing relationship between Tal and Mariah? We've had it go on this entire season with these two siblings here, and just how strong that bond has grown. What do you think about when we get to the end of this about their bond? And would you all look forward to a second season of this? I mean, it's a great show. Granted, we're not going to get Forrest Whitaker back unless we only get him back in flashbacks. But I'm more than willing to have him just back.
Yeah, they gotta go the anthology route now. That seals the deal on that.
Yeah,
you're right.
And just to bring back Forrest, bring back this whole cast in different roles, I think it'll be a great show. But again, let us know what you think about this show, and then check us out as while this is the end of this show. Clearly, we have a return of a bigger show, and we have so many other stuff on this network that you can check out. I think Bel Air reviews are going on right now. Is Love Island reviews going on? I don't know Love Island. I know y'all review Love Island. It's another Black show. Oh, Reasonable Doubt, which is an amazing show.
There's no Love Island though, but I feel you.
It is. I thought it was a Love Island. Am I confused here? Does Love Island not exist?
It exists, not here. But yeah,
I don't know who the hell covered Love Island. You know what? Just let us know if you need us to cover Love Island. We got y'all. Oh man, but again, thank y'all for checking this out. Check out the channel for so much other content that we got coming. Clearly, me and my partner here, we're coming back for a big show that you already know about that's dropping very soon. So check us out on that one too. Peace, people.